Hi, baby. How are ya? It's Sunday night. It's a Sunday night. Oh man. Maybe I should work on my appearance a little more. Huh. I got so many things to worry about. I don't worry about that very much. But let me get our bedtime story. Let me get our bedtime story. Okay. Another one out of the Jesus Storybook Bible. So, all right. These are the best stories. Oh, this is such a cool book. I love these pictures. Are so neat, aren't they? They are so neat. Who illustrated this? Illustrated by Jago. I think look how neat they are. Okay. Well, I think we're on the third story. So Adam and Eve had just been sent out of the garden. So let me see. Sorry, it's taking me a second here. So I think we left off right here is where it left off. So here we go. But not in this story. God loved his children too much to let the story end there. Even though he knew he would suffer, God had a plan, a magnificent dream. One day, he would get his children back. One day, he would make the world their perfect home again. Usually your children come back when they've been taken away. And one day, he would wipe again every tear from their eyes. You see, no matter what, in spite of everything, God would love his children with a never stopping, never giving up, unbreaking, always and forever love. And though he would forget him and run from him, deep in their hearts, God's children would miss him always and long for him, lost children yearning for their home. Before they left the garden, God whispered a promise to Adam and Eve. I will not always be so. I will come to rescue you. And when I do, I'm going to do battle against the snake. I'll get rid of the sin and the dark and the sadness you let in here. I'm coming back for you. And he would. One day, God himself would come. A new beginning. Noah's Ark from Genesis 6-9. So this is all the Old Testament stuff, and I don't know this Old Testament very well, so we'll be learning together a little bit because, well, I just haven't learned it in a long time. Oh, look at my pimple. Oh no. Sometimes those happen. Oh my. Time passed and many people filled the earth. Everyone everywhere had forgotten about God and were only doing bad things all the time. God's heart was filled with pain when he saw what had happened to the world he had loved. Everywhere was disease and death and destruction, all the things God hates the most. Now Noah was God's friend, which was odd in those days because no one else was. Noah listened to God and he talked to God and he just loved being with God, like you do with your best friend. You can always talk to Jesus. Just say, "Hi Jesus, how are you doing today? What's going on in heaven? How's your mom, Mary? How's your dad, God?" Just say, "Hi Jesus, what is going on with you? This is my name, and I would like to say hello to you." And you can also tell him about what's going on with you. And yeah, it's really good. I'm working on that too. It's not something easy to do. No, most people don't know how to do it. Actually, almost nobody does, I think. Well, I certainly didn't. So, it's something you should start when you're really little, when you're just tiny. Noah, God said, things have gone wrong. People have filled my world with hate instead of love. They are destroying themselves and each other and my world. I must stop them. First, I'll build an ark. Do you know how to build an ark? Whether Noah did, luckily God knew, and he would show him. So this is about Noah building a big boat. And there's an ark or there's a building that looks like an ark up in Estes Park. And maybe someday we'll be able to go see it. So, a storm is coming, God told Noah, but I will rescue you, I promise. I'll send the animals to you, ones that creep and crawl and slither and slime and gallop and hop and bound and climb. And don't forget to pack everyone's food. The storm was going to wash away all the hate and the sadness and everything that had gone wrong and make the world clean again. God had thought up a way to keep Noah safe, but Noah would have to trust God and do exactly what God told him. So Noah built an ark, short for a very large boat. Noah's neighbors came out to watch and point and laugh because they did not believe Noah about the boat or the storm or needing to be rescued. And Noah must have looked rather silly. His boat was in the desert. The desert was nowhere near the sea, and there wasn't even a cloud in the sky. Why would anyone need an umbrella, let alone a boat? So the main point of this story is to talk to God and listen. You have to listen to him. I don't know how to do that. I'm still learning. Oh, look at these cool pictures. Look at all those cool pictures. There's a bear. There's a bear. I mean, a bird. And there's a bird. See, I was thinking bear and bird at the same time. And there's a giraffe. And there's an elephant and a turtle. Or a tortoise. And there's a jaguar. And there's a lemur. And there's an elephant and an anteater and a pig. Oh, and here's a little mouse. But Noah didn't mind so much what other people thought. He minded what God thought. So he just did what God told him to do. When the ark was ready, God said, "All aboard." And Noah's family and all the animals climbed inside. And then God shut the door. And it started raining for minutes that joined up into hours and that joined to days and joined into weeks. And weeks. And then the rain joined into puddles and joined into rivers and joined into lakes and joined into a flood that covered the entire world. Their boat had at once seemed so big, suddenly seemed so very small in the middle of the huge storm. But in the crashing waves, in all the thunder and lightning, through it all, God was with them. And God kept them safe for 40 long days and 40 long nights. Finally, the rain stopped and the sun came out, and Noah threw open all the windows. "Hooray!" everyone shouted. Noah sent his dove out to explore, and it wasn't long before she brought him back a fresh olive leaf. Everyone knew exactly what that meant. She had found a tree and land, and water was going down. At last, the boat landed quite suddenly on top of the great mountain. As soon it was safe, God said, "Out you come." And so they did, everyone skipping and dancing onto dry land. The first thing Noah did was to thank God for rescuing them, just as he had promised. "Thank you, Jesus. Thank you very much." One of the best things you could say. The first thing Noah did was to thank God for rescuing them, just as he had promised. The first thing God did was make another promise. "I won't ever destroy the world again." And like a warrior who puts away his bow and arrow at the end of the great battle, God said, "I see I have hung my bow in the clouds." And that's where the rainbow comes from. Yeah, that's where the rainbow comes from. And there in the clouds, just where the storm meets the sun, was a beautiful bow made of light. It was a new beginning in God's world. It wasn't long before everything went wrong again, but God wasn't surprised. He knew this would happen. That's why, before the beginning of time, he had another plan, a better plan. A plan not to destroy the world, but to rescue it. A plan to one day send his own son, the rescuer. That's Jesus. God's strong anger against hate and sadness and death and divorce and, destroying families and all of that, because that's some of the worst things. God's strong anger against hate and sadness and death would come down once more, but not on his people or his world. No, God's war bow was not pointing down at his people. It was pointing up unto the heart of heaven. The end. That was a long story tonight. I try to keep them under 10 minutes because it takes forever to load them up onto YouTube. I love you. I wish I could hold you in my arms. It won't be too long. I'll see you soon. All right. Bye-bye. Good night.